really is. Everything else pins around the music. It's all about how good the music is.
When does this podcast go out, by the way?
Whenever you want.
Okay, so if this comes out before the album is released,
24th of November.
like you say, we're not resting on our laurels, you see. So we even now, as soon whilst this conversation would come up, I'm thinking, oh God, the album's coming out. The album's coming out, and then I'm thinking, right, I really hope it does well. You know what I mean, in my head, because you just don't know. You just do not know. We're confident in the music that's on it, but we just don't know.
But it's interesting. You guys have that, but coming from a fan point of view, right? I know it would do well. So for us, you wouldn't even. It's funny because you sit with you guys and you think, okay, they have got it all together. They know exactly what they're doing. Of course, it's going to be a hit. You know, your tour is selling out. You've got 7 nights at the O2 that you're already pretty much sold out, I hear. So it's crazy, right? But still, you guys have doubt. And so it gives you as an individual, as a person, as a fan, you go, it's okay for me to have doubt as well in our own individual lives, which I think is quite nice. What decade or what time in your careers was the funnest for you? Howard, what was your funnest time? Is it now? Was it in the...
I think it's just, I mean, you know, we got back together in 2005 to make a documentary. And from that moment on, when we realized, you know, that we were writing the music together, a couple of us me and Gary had kids at that point, you know, 2006. I just feel like the old world is more relaxed around our little circle. I just felt this is going to be fun. We've all got an understanding of each other, and we're growing with each other, and our understanding of each other is getting better and better and better. Whereas the 90s was just so super speedy, we didn't really have a chance to think and
it so fast?
Or talk even, you know?
It really was.
Just crazy.
Yeah, one of the worst things about the 90s, which I feel we righted very early, and I hope this doesn't sound bad, but it shouldn't if you read into it, what I'm about to say. But we had a lot of people telling us what to do in the 90s. And so I guess a lot of that comes from we didn't know what we were doing. But I think we did know what we were doing. Mm-hmm. And when we came back in 2006, one of the very first things we did is we sat round in a group and we became a band, I think, for the first time. And it was from that I went, no, we're doing it like this. And no, we're doing it like this, because that's how we want to do it. And it's not about I guess it is about being in control, but it's about also doing it on your terms at that point. Because the funny thing is with music, and I think a lot of young artists go through this, is that you know where you need to be. You do know. Don't let other people tell you should be better, you should be this, you should be that. You know, you especially if you're a musician, you're an artist, to get you to the point where you're even in a label or whatever, it means you're good. And you know where you're going. Trust it, really trust it. There's so many things out there that makes us doubt where we're going and what we should be doing. But you really do know. And we knew at that point. It was just having the confidence to go, right, we're good. And we did, and we went forward. And it was a big moment for us, that.
That's really good. Someone told me once that you should never follow logic, right? Which is so if someone tells you this is how you should do it, you should never follow it. So if you're driving a car, following logic is a good thing because you're driving safely. But if you're in music or setting up a business, don't follow logic because you get back in the same place as everybody else. Yeah. So everyone's just saying you should do it this way because that's how everyone else has done it. Actually, it's the worst piece of advice sometimes.
Agreed. Yeah.
But it requires strength.
It really does. Yeah. And belief.
Yeah.
Which is easy as a band because you're a group. You can all take the loss on if it doesn't work. So easier as a band, more and braver.
Being older as well. It's something you learn, I guess, through time.
And the first few times you come across it, it's kind of scary. And you kind of back off thinking, maybe I'm not right, but you probably are.
So what was the first hit then when you did it completely by yourselves? And you were like, no, this is us. This isn't anyone else jumping in, telling us something different. We're almost proud that this is ours. Which one was that?
Well, I think that we did a tour when we first came back, and I think we was kind of still finding our feet. But when we started to make Beautiful World album, We had a very supportive record label actually at that point. And I remember the guy who was in charge of the music basically saying, just go and have fun. I was like, good God, if that was the 90s, go off and have fun. They'd have been telling you, every engineer, musician, he was just like, go and make the best record you've ever made. I was thinking, wow, this is on us. We've got to go and do this. And it was very liberating, that.
Also doubtful as well, thinking, the record company don't actually give a shit.
Yeah, they saw we had it in us, and we did. We found it.
And that was Patience, wasn't it?
It was Patience, yeah.
Oh my God, that tune is massive.
The producer we had at that time I would have liked to have seen his point of view, because we all sort of go in there as we're doing, go, what about this idea? But he was very gracious in listening to everybody, because he actually he was bringing sort of 4 people in and actually going, hang on, let's listen to this. And I think that he played an important role in helping us to complete that record and make it sound, sort of find the sound and help us to develop songs like Shine and Patience. And,
oh my God,
they're just to be able to grow these ideas into,
But you see, that was
they're bangers as well. They're real.
So if I could go back to what we were talking about earlier, that was a completely different album experience to the one Howard was talking. You see, every time you come to an album, it's not just about writing your best songs. I think it's about making it feel like it's your first album you've ever made. It's about changing how we do it. Because if you just go back to that same room and play that same chord that you did the last time, you're going to now repeat what you did last time. And it's about making it feel fresh and brand new, and making everyone a little uneasy as well, that gets the best musically out of a band.
I love the fact you said, I didn't even think this, that performing and singing and writing or whatever it is like a muscle. And if you're not constantly doing it, you actually slightly lose it. It's like a fitness thing, which I'd never even realized.
Writing is definitely like a muscle. If you don't do it for 5 years, you come back to it. You've got to train up again. Well, in the way that at the time that we were signed to a label, the general music that was in the charts was like dance music with people you couldn't even recognize. So when we first got signed, we were signed on the fact that this is a band with personalities and faces, and we weren't signed for the music. So they signed us with the hope that we could, it was signing bands. It was just like no one was doing it. It was such a thing nobody wanted. So all those,
because you were
hits,
selling on like sex appeal and just like attracted, like you were selling on just like a.
Well, it was a pop band, so it looked fun.
Yeah,
it was for teenage girls. That's the original idea with a label, was like, right, we could get them on the TV shows, because TV was very big. Saturday morning TV, we can get them on all these things. But we couldn't quite get the music to fit. Our music wasn't playlisted. We literally made an audience, gathered an audience who took us into each album. That's what it was. Until sort of Pray, which is our second album, we really weren't getting a lot of airplay. Even with Pray, it was never like an A-list record. It's very easy to rewrite all these songs and say they were massive at the time. They were massive because our audience was big.
That's crazy.
It never felt quite like, until Back for Good. I think Back for Good was the first time where radio played us big time, like A-list everywhere. I think it took that long. And Never Forget came off the back of Back for Good. So that was a big...
Then it was bang.
And I think that from that point on, but those early songs were never like ingrained into the charts, into music. It was our audience that was doing that.
That's frustrating, right, at the beginning, because you're just like, hang on a second, we're just creating these absolute amazing songs, but people are they not hearing what we're hearing? Are they not getting what we're getting?
I think for us, I mean, it might be different for Gaz, but we were from my point of view, we were just learning, and we didn't really know sort of. I didn't sit there going, "Oh, radio aren't playing our record," because I didn't really know. I didn't know that side of things. I'm sure people at the label might have been having those conversations. How do we break them through into this different world. But I think Gaz is right with the Back for Good is it just felt, and I think also that we were probably getting a bit older now. And so we were starting to grow into the band. So we were starting to take that in many ways. We were starting to grow into it. And so I think that maybe naturally that sort of started to feel a bit more like authentic, that we were starting to understand where we were. But I think we were learning all the time. There was no guidebook. There was no thing that like said, this is the way you've got to do it. This is what we should be doing. We were sort of we had good people around us, like people at A&R who were taking us to the right producers, the right dance mixers. We were playing the right. So the decisions those people were making were the correct decisions, I would say. They were finding us the right people to work with, and maybe that was Nigel as well. So some of those, but I wasn't part of that conversation. I wasn't sat there going, oh, we need to find a producer who does this. I was just like, what's my diary look like on Monday? 10 o'clock,
I'll be there.
Rehearsal. Yeah.
There wasn't another band doing. There's no one to follow. I think what the bands had following us, Backstreet, NSYNC, they had our blueprint to sort of follow, really. But in those 94, 95, there was no one else doing what we were doing. So it was a really interesting time.
But when you guys look into your audience now, because we were talking about this earlier, we were talking about sort of Harry Styles' audience, and we were discussing like there is just a certain type of Harry Styles audience. With you guys, your audience and fan base, it skews huge ages. Like
it does now.
It does now?
Yeah.
Because that's crazy, right? Because normally you capture an audience, you keep the fan base, and that's what it is. But you guys are from much older to also much younger.
I think probably, again, our audience were kind of, when we first started, was sort of the ages that we were. So we sort of grew up, and when we came back 10 years making the music that we wanted to make that felt real to us, then it was relatable for our audience members. I think they appreciated that we were doing that. So I think we managed to do that. And then their families have expanded as ours have. Now we have, if there's 5 of us, I think between us we've got 20 kids. Between the band that, I don't know, I just made that number up.
Yeah.
I don't think
200 kids.
Probably not far, but, we've got, partners, and we've got,
it's amazing.
So, and I guess that the people who started with us, they've gone through a similar journey where they've expanded, or some of them maybe have, so they're, and it's nice. There's a real, we've always tried to put on whether it's our shows or our music. I think we've always tried to develop and grow, and it takes us back to where we started. Is we always try to sort of if it was a seed, we're still trying to grow that seed. We still water it. We still, prune it now and again. We try and make it grow, and I guess that's sort of what we've tried to do with that. Not tried to do, but what our audience has done with us as we've been trying to do it with ourselves.
Yeah. I said to you guys I wanted to do this really early this morning, but it's 10 a.m. on Monday.
That's really early.
Is that really early?
What time do you wake?
Okay, I think you wake early as well. I wake at 6 a.m.
Why do you
naturally?
like?
No, not naturally.
Okay. So
I set an alarm at 6 a.m.
Why do you like to do them early? Is there a reason?
Well, I think energy better in the morning.
Okay.
What time do you get up in the morning?
6 usually.
Yeah. Naturally?
Yes.
You wake up
Pretty
naturally
much.
at 6 a.m. in the morning?
Not
you don't when you're in London.
Not when I'm in London, yeah. But yeah, usually. I like to get up at 6.
And then what, do you have a routine in the morning? Do you meditate?
Yes. No, I don't meditate. I have dogs. So they take priority. So I usually go downstairs, feed them first.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very popular between the hours of 6 and 7 because I feed the dogs and the cats and the various animals, and then I take them for a walk. Well, but I run. So I go for a run, and it's nice to run early. I like finishing my run as the sun or the light starting to rise. It's quite nice.
Are you guys, Gary, are you the same? What is your routine in the morning?
You get up early. You do the 5. You're an early morning person.
Well, the one thing I don't do ever is set an alarm. I
Get
think
outta
it's
here.
a horrible way to start. Yeah, I think your body really doesn't like being shocked into waking up.
There's a
in the
shock
morning.
in it that when
Yeah.
you hear that
I don't
noise.
think it's good for you. That
Okay.
I'd cut that out if you, can.
That's what I'm going to cut
I
out.
think you should cut that
Okay, done. That's
because
the
I know
first thing.
because I know everything.
And then what's going to happen? I'm going to have a really important meeting and just not wake up for it.
It's gone. But you'll be if you do wake at that time every day. I think you'll wake up. I think you will.
So you wake up naturally at sort of 5:30, 6 a.m.
Yes.
And then what? Do you meditate?
No.
No meditation.
No. No.
You sound a bit disappointed that you've asked 2 and you're getting no meditation.
Well,
out of it.
I tell you what, I always, because I've interviewed quite a lot of musicians, and because you guys lead such a stressful life, because it is stressful, you're touring, you're constantly producing music, you're constantly singing, performing, all those different things, you have to have those times to completely switch off. And that normally involves meditation, but maybe it's not meditation. How do you meditate?
Yes, I do actually.
You do?
Yes.
You found one.
I have a new routine. So as much as I'd like to go to bed early, because if I go to bed early, I know I'm going to wake up early. If I go to bed late, which is normally me around midnight, I'm going to struggle out. I will need an alarm to get me up at 6 o'clock. But my new thing is when I do wake up at 6:30 normally, because obviously I've got kids to take to school, is to do like 15, 20 minutes of stretching and exercise and go into a handstand, get the blood to my head, do some sit-ups and do some press-ups. Not a lot, just only 20 minutes, but the stretching is more key than any muscle training for me. I mean, it is muscle training at the end of the day. And I'll sit there. It's like a meditation, but it's also a visualization of how you want the day to be. So you visualize how you want the day to be, how you want to get the kids at the table, and how you want to do that, and how you want to be with them, and how you want to be happy in front of them, and but none of it works.
Do you know?
They're always a
Can
pain
I
in the
just
ass.
rewind that because
Yeah.
I think the
here we go.
handstand for me, the fact that you do that, I think that's amazing.
Well, I'd
you
just
really do
love
handstand?
to be able to do a handstand. Never
Against
mind
the
do
wall.
it every day.
Against the wall.
You do?
It's not one of those where I'm like traipsing around the bedroom on my hands, it's like balancing myself.
Sorry, babe. Sorry, babe.
yeah.
You know, I swear. I
All the
swear.
glides.
Please teach me. I want to be able to. This is today. I'm starting.
Well,
I
you can
want
do
to
one.
be
You're
able to
not
do
going to
it.
start doing
I'm
this.
going to. You shut up.
If we
Liam.
go
I know it's your
walk, we'll go
podcast.
walk.
Shut up.
You said you're a little bit tight, as in your
I even
muscles.
think my arms are gonna. If I go, it's not gonna work.
It's because you're a beast. It's because you're a beast of a man, guys.
That's true.
And you are.
forgot that
He's
bit.
built like a brick shit house, basically, Gary. And that's why he's probably a little bit muscle bound, I reckon. You
So do
need
you think
to.
I should stretch before I start trying to do the handstand?
Oh, 100%. That's
Okay.
the handstand is last.
Oh, it's last.
The handstand is last.
I've got more of a
I
chance. then.
would love the fact to see you do a handstand in the morning, every morning. If I
What about
if
now?
I stop
What
doing,
about now?
try do. There's no way. I think you might.
You want to laugh at me, don't you?
you look
what it
great.
is.
If I stop setting an alarm, you have to do a handstand every morning.
Okay,
Okay, that's a fair.
that's a deal.
What about you? Do you have a start of day?
I'm trying to do it more. I can't meditate
But why are you trying? What's telling you need to try and do something else?
because I think now we live in this time where everything is so instant and everything is so fast paced. And if you live in London or a city, it's just constant all the time. We're constantly on our phone. I don't know if you check your screen time on your phone sometimes. Mine was like 7 hours. That's like
Day.
a day.
Oh wow, that's a lot.
That is consuming just so much. So I think being able to take a step back and relax is a really good. And then also I did this thing basically at New Year last year. Because everything was just going so fast. I was getting married, all these different things. So I sat in a room and I basically said in complete quietness, and I just sat there for an hour and just thought, okay, what do I really want to do? Like, what do I want? And what is holding me back? And it was the first time I sort of sat in silence for ages, and it made me really reflect on things. So now I'm trying to get into that space a little bit.
So just to link to your question originally, when we sit and write, and that's a form of that, because that silence and that problem solving and the beauty of making music, it's a very beautiful thing when it starts to work, and that's also like a meditation. That's a way of, because I mean I'm not a meditator, but I'm assuming it's to break the chain of the world, the meditation, is to remove yourself.
Yeah.
Music's that for me, definitely.